Good morning, Taft6th grade. Welcome. This is Dr. S, and we're going to look at a piece of music now. I've got my screen shared. This is a piece called Pirates Parade. It's a beginning piece of music that we normally play at the end of the first year. And it's very, very simple. There's just a few things that you need to know. First, let me point out a few aspects of this piece. Now you can see up at the very top, it says Pirates Parade, and it says it is drums. And then the next line down, it says moderato, and there's a picture of a quarter note equals 98, and that's telling you about how fast this music should go. Now, when you're practicing it, you can practice it at any speed, as slow as you need to go. What I did is got my metronome software here. These are free. Metronome, it's an old word, M-E-T-R-O-N-O-M-E. Click the button, and I have it set for 98. So this is how fast we're supposed to be going. I'll just put this here. Okay, now we look a little bit further, and it says the first line of music, there's a big, long black line, and it has a 7. So what that means is we have 7 bars rest right away. So that somebody else in the band is playing. Now the conductor is going to be conducting there. You're just not going to play. It'll look like this. Conductor has the here's my snare drum stick. Conductor has the baton, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to look like that. So now we're going to count 7 measures rest, and then you have this next measure just before A. It's another measure rest. So we have a total of 8 measures rest. Now there's just a mistake here on this piece of music. See the words bass drum on top and the word snare drum on the bottom. That has to be flipped around. The bass drum's going to play the bottom notes, and you see the stems facing down, and the snare drum is going to play the top line. Okay, so that's fairly standard. And if you're playing drum set, you'll play both lines because your right foot will be the bass drummer. Normally in band, you'll have somebody standing next to you playing bass drum. Okay, so we have the bass drum part. Now, mostly the bass drum is going to be playing on beats 1 and beats 3. Now, first thing we have letter A. Now, we look at this music, when the conductor wants you to find your place in the music, they'll use two different methods. One will to tell you the measure number, the other will be to tell you the rehearsal number. Okay, so now the letters that are in circles, A, B, C, D, these are rehearsal numbers. So the conductor may say, okay, drums, you don't come in until measure A. So be quiet and count 8 bars rest. Now look down at rehearsal C. That's a couple lines down. We have some special effects called rim shots we're going to play. Tell you about that in just a little bit. And now the other way we can identify places in the music is by the measure number. And now sometimes you'll find a piece of music where all the measures are numbered. Here we have the measures down the side. You see the first number on the second line, it says 13, and 17 is the next line is 21. That tells you that the first measure on that line is 13. So that line has 13, 14, 15, 16. You go to the next line, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there are different ways conductors can use to tell you where we are in the music. And it's very important to listen to those words. Okay, now everything on this page is a quarter note. So it's going to be very, very simple. Now we're in 4/4 time, and that means that there are 4 beats to a measure, and the quarter note is the note that we use to show the beat. Now, we're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very, very simple. Now, we'll go up to the first line. When we play, we count 8 measures rest. The way to do that, I know it's boring, I just count on my fingers because I get distracted really easily, so I do it like this. Thumb is 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, and then 8, 2, 3, 4. And that's how we count. And it's usually multiples of 8, 4, and 8. Sometimes we have very long spaces to count when we play in percussion. That's okay. So that's the method I use to count. I have to show you. The next thing I have to show you is the sticking that we're going to use. Now, some of the music you will play will have an R or an L under or above each of the notes, meaning L meaning left, R meaning right. So if you can look over on your music there, but on the first line I wrote the counting in over each note. Now, even though we call it a rest, it's really an exact set time that we have quiet. So it doesn't mean you don't count it. We always count rest. That's the most important thing drummers mess up with, is screwing up the rests. So we have to be very careful about that. Okay? Now, very simple sticking system we're going to use because we're playing quarter notes. So now we're going to start with the right hand, and we're going to go right, left, right, left, right, left. And the whole thing is right, left, right, left, right, left. However, if we have a rest, then we're just not going to play there. So what this means is beat 1 and 3 will be with the right hand. Beats 2 and 4 will be with the left hand. So in the first measure, number 1 is a rest. So we're going to, number 2 will be with our left hand. So we're going to play 1, left, right, left, 2, left, right, left. Now this third measure, we just have notes on beats 2 and beats 4. And we traditionally play those with the left hand. And we call these things after beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now when I play the drum set, I'm going to come over here. It's very typical to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And sometimes we play something in addition to that, like the cymbal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why we tend to play that pattern with the left hand. Okay, I think you know just about everything. Now, if you look through this, you'll find, for the most part, there are 4 measures on a line. You look at the first line, we have 8 bars, but those are 8 bars of rest. So then we have A. That passage is 4 bars long. It's exactly the same as the next line. Measures 13 through 16. Go down to the next line where it says B and look at those notes. You play the same thing that you played before, 17 to measure 20. Go down to the next line, 21 through 24. That's exactly the same thing. At letter C, now we have a slightly different pattern. And at letter E, now we have the first pattern again. Look at that. Now, the only time this really changes is once we get after F to the last measure in line F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th measure. That's where the pattern changes. So now and this happens a lot when we're playing drums. You have to really pay attention because it's easy to get lost when you're playing the same thing over and over again. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my metronome. There we go. There's my metronome. So I have the click, and I'm going to count out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to use the sticking that I told you about. So here we go. Follow along in the music if you like. This is at rehearsal letter A. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the next line. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Here's B. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm at letter C. So you notice I counted out loud. Hopefully I didn't get too confusing. I tried to tell you when we're in the next line or when we came to the next rehearsal letter. That's how musicians communicate. Okay, so now at letter C, we're asked to do a thing called a rim shot. And a rim shot is a note that is extra loud. put it in parentheses that it's rim shot. He put that little sideways V thing. That's called an accent. That means play the note with a little more force. Plus, you look at below the line, you see this F, which is F stands for forte, which means loud. Okay? Now, this thing called a rim shot looks like this. You're going to lay the stick across the pad and play the other stick with it. Okay, now let me do this on my snare drum so you can hear what's going on here. Okay, so now this is the normal sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now for extra emphasis, we put the stick on the drum head, the tip of the stick on the drum head. The distance depends on the sound that you get. And you're going to lay the back of the stick on the drum rim. Sounds like this. Now if I do it high pitch, and it changes. So that's called a prepared rim shot. In concert band and an orchestra, we use the prepared rim shot. Make sense? Okay. Section C, we have a different rhythm. Let me just start it up, and there you go. Now here's what it's going to sound like at letter C. In fact, I'm going to do it on your pad, and it'll look like this. I'll put the stick about there, the tip of the stick there, and then rest the shoulder of the stick on the rim. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that brings us up to Rehearsal D. Has 8 bars rest. See, a thick black line with the number 8. So we're quiet and we count on our fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4 until we get to 8. Now here we are at rehearsal letter E, and it's the exact same rhythm until we get to letter F. There's a special thing I need to show you at the bottom of the page. You have the regular notes, but then they have this itty bitty tiny note with a slash on it, and it looks like it's tied to the top of the quarter note. Now that's called a flam. And flam is another way we have in drums of making really louder, more pointed sounds. And the sticks hit almost at the same time. It's almost like the word sounds like it is. Flam. Flam. That looks like this. Now, flams are a big topic. I will do a video on flams right now. This is your first time with flams. And I suggest that we play all the flams with the right hand because they're on 1 and 3. And that fits with our pattern where we've been playing beats 1 and 3 with our right hand. So in a right hand flam, the right hand is about 8 inches above the drum head. Let me see, let me get behind it so you can kind of see the tip of the stick here against my sweater. Now the left hand is very close to the drum head. So you can see I have the left hand 1 inch from the drum head and the right hand about 8 inches from the drum head. Both hands leave at the exact same moment. There we go. So this section's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice when you go back and look at this video, notice that when I'm playing, no matter what I'm playing, I start with my sticks at this a particular height, and I go down, up, down, up, down with each hand. And notice how the stick returns to its regular height. You can see so I'm pretty much playing like this all the time. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so very, very important. Kind of notice that. Now, when I do the flams, I have two different levels. I do the same thing. If I'm going to play right hand flams, I start with the left hand close to the drum head, and it's going to return to that place. And that's the way I can make the same sound. Now, I'm starting at the exact same moment, and because one is closer to the drum than the other, right? The one that's closest is going to hit first, and the one that's furthest is going to hit last. The one that's furthest is going to be louder because it has more travel time and it's picked up more speed, and it's like that. So I'm not trying to go ba-dum, 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 and you'll see students try and do that. We're just trying to just drop the sticks at the same time. It's very, and while it sounds very simple, sometimes it's hard to do because we're doing different things with each hand. It takes a little bit of concentration. Okay, I've taken you all the way through this piece of music, so I think I should leave you here to learn this piece of music. Practice playing along. If you don't have a metronome yet, download a metronome so you can practice keeping a steady tempo, because that's one of the important job descriptions of what a drummer does, is keep a steady tempo that everybody else can rely on and can trust. So we have to practice being reliable and trustworthy with the beat. So that's why we always practice with a metronome. This is Dr. S signing off. We'll see you soon.